Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you all this afternoon and congratulate you all. It's not easy going last, is it? It's a shame Mike's still not with us because I want to talk about some of the things that Mike's talked about. I'm going to repeat some of the things that other people, my colleagues before me, have said because I want to thank you for the opportunity of speaking. I want to thank you for the work that you're doing. And it's quite right. It's going to look like Rebecca and I have shared our slides or our conversations a little bit because I personally am responsible for every police force in the country, making sure that they all are using interpreters and translators correctly. And a few people have spoken today about the fact that sometimes police don't know what an interpreter should be doing. Well, that goes both ways. Sometimes an interpreter thinks they know what they should be doing, and it turns out to be not quite the case. And Irina's been great at helping me to pass on information so that everyone does know what they're doing. And Rebecca's doing a great job of making sure that as far as her officers are concerned in her region, that they do understand as best as possible what it is that you expect from the police and what you can do and what you can't do. And people have heard me speaking before about the fact that you walk into a police station and the police officer asks you, do you know how to take a statement? You say yes, and they say, right, get on with it then. And of course, we all know that no matter how good you are, that's not your job. You don't have a lawful authority to do that, and it's not safe for you to be left in there with what may be an upset person or a distressed person or an angry person. So we are working across the police service to make sure that everyone, both interpreters, translators and police officers, understand what it is that we expect of everyone. So as Irina says, our relationship has been going for a while, but actually his Honour spoke earlier about willingness to help, and he was talking about Olympia. You've got quite a few people within your organisation who are more than willing to help. So we have Simona Hodor, who I have been working with for many years. And in fact, the first time I met Simona, we were working on a very, very high profile crime case that involved the military, the police, the Coast Guard, all sorts of very, very busy people. But we had a very difficult investigation to go through. And I just want to take a moment to talk about Simona. She might want to turn her camera off so that you don't see her going blushing, but Simona was interpreting for some Romanian speaking crew members, and she was booked for quite a long time in the day. And I had quite a few Filipino Tagalog interpreters who had to do a lot more work because there were more crew members who spoke Tagalog than spoke Romanian. But our dear Simona, on the very first time I met her, said, right, I'm not going home, I'll stay, I'll make the teas and coffees. She even offered to wash up the plates until I pointed out that they were paper and they were going to be thrown away. But it was difficult to get Simona to go home because she wanted to be part of the team. She wanted to support the police. She wanted to stay and help and try to stay until her payment had run out, until she'd done the hours that she was paid to do. So I know that many of you out there are doing that kind of thing all the time. You go that step beyond, and I'm hoping that police that you work with are going that step beyond as well. The relationship between the interpreters and the police is so important that it goes both ways, that we support you, that you support us. It can't work if there's a breakdown. Now, Mike has talked about regulation, and Irina mentioned the PATE scheme. It's just one element that I'm responsible for. So the police approved interpreters and translators is a scheme that's been voted in by every police service in the country, including the Met Police. And what we are doing is looking to regulate the interpreters and translators who do police work for us, because there are loopholes out there. Until the government will allow everyone to be mandated for NERPC and NRCPD, there's a gap. We've also seen recently a fake interpreter. That could have happened even if he was a member of NRCPD or a member of NERPC. It could happen because he had very good forged documents. But that has put the regulatory side of it into the public domain again. And Mike is quite right. He continues to mention that whenever he can, to point out and illustrate that there are some problems. But the police don't have an option to say, no, we're not going to have an interpreter. The police need an interpreter at all times when they've got a victim that we don't understand what's happened, or a witness who can't tell us what they saw, or we have a person in custody who may be there accidentally, i.e. once we speak to them, we find out they're a victim, not the suspect. It happens. So the police have decided that we need to mandate certain things ourselves. And you will be getting more information about this. You will have seen quite a few presentations that I've done, and some wonderful interviews that I did with Arena. And when I say they were wonderful, what I mean is it was two friends sitting talking. And it was a bit like, for those that know Michael Parkinson or someone like that, some of the, well, Alan Carr, chatty man now, I guess, although I don't put Arena or myself in either of those categories. So hopefully you've seen that I've been talking a lot about what's going to happen with PATE. We've got 4 regions now that are going forward onto the new police procurement system, and will be using PATE interpreters. But what I want to say here is, you don't have to do anything. Those of you that take police work, thank you for doing that. As you've heard from Rebecca, we can't do it without you. For those that don't take police work, I'd like you to consider it. There are certain qualifications and experience that you need, but it's very rewarding. Now, we heard someone speaking earlier about the downside of that, how it makes you feel, and how it's horrendous. And I completely understand how horrendous it is to walk into a custody area and hear what's happened to a young child, those kind of things. But it looks like through the AIT, you're getting help from that. And that's really good. I'm really pleased to hear that. I've been pushing for you to get help, and for police services to take responsibility, and for the agencies to take responsibility for your health and well-being and your personal safety. And I am going to be talking a lot more about personal safety in the coming year, not today. I saw Irina's head go up. She's thinking he's had 10 minutes already. So there will be CPD that we're going to be doing for all of you, not just police interpreters, where we'll talk about your personal safety, how to keep yourself safe. So all I want to do now actually is thank you all for inviting me to be an associate member. I'm going to say again, thank you for doing police work. If you don't do it at the moment, have a look at it. It's, I think, the pinnacle of interpreting, the very top of your game to be able to do that. Even higher, I guess, would be to go out and do the negotiating and assist, as Rebecca has talked about, and that's all very exciting. There will be newsletters coming out next week. It all goes through the AIT. You get to see what's going on through there, as well as through NERPC. And the last thing I want to say is, for those of you that celebrate Easter, have a happy Easter. I understand Ramadan's coming quite soon as well. And stay safe and have a wonderful weekend, whether you're celebrating a holiday or not. Then that's it from me today. Thank you.